So YouTube, it's your boy Spellcaster 77, bring you a deck update on the Village Lockdown deck. I know it's been a while since I updated this deck, but I've been waiting to get Pilot Duality and to add some consistency to my deck. So without further ado, I'm going to jump into the deck list and I'm going to explain some deck choices afterwards. Alright, start out with 3 Chaos Sorcerer, 3 Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, 3 Lila, Light Sworn Sorceress, 3 Breaker the Magical Warrior, 3 Effect Value. Went down to 1 Magical Exemplar, 1 Summon the Monk, 1 Jargon the Spiritualist. For the Magics, we still play 3 Secret Village of the Spellcasters, added 3 Pot of Duality, 2 Smash and Ground, which is new, 2 Solidarity instead of the 2 Burden of the Mighty, Dark Hole, Monster Reborn, and Lure of Darkness. Now for the traps, we got a Bottomless Trap Hole, 2 Call of the Haunted, 2 Black Horn of Heaven, 2 Compulse, 1 Mirror Force, and 1 Trap Dust Shoot. Let's start with the monsters for the tech choices. For this format, I believe Kaiku is going to be seen actually in more decks than not. A lot of side decks are probably going to have a Kaiku in it just because of Light Sworn and Twilight decks. And honestly, Blackluster Soldier. With the rule change on Tour Guide from the Underworld, she's not the most important card in this format, although she is still pretty powerful. Blackluster Soldier kind of jumps up to that spot. Twilight decks kind of move up a little bit, even though they lost use to Tour Guide. Lila, since I'm not playing really any magic form of back row hate, I got 3 Lila and 3 Breaker. Now, you would think that this deck wouldn't need to mill, but honestly, Lila's milling effect actually kind of helps me out with consistency. Sometimes I draw all monster hands or too many spell and traps, and she kind of helps fixate that with her milling ability. Make sure I get a good even balance of cards, which has helped a lot. 3 Breaker, same thing for the Lila, you know, back row hate, monster form. 1900 when he's summoned is nothing to sneeze at. Neither 1700, and both have back row destruction ability. 3 Effect Value, I believe this card is probably in the top 3 of the most important cards of this format. Stops your opponent's big plays, especially since, you know, back row hate isn't as prevalent, or not back row hate, but the back row isn't as prevalent as it was last format. You know, people are going to try to up the monster count to make up for that, make up for not setting 4 and 5 cards at a time, make up for that heavy storm, those 3 MSTs running around. So Effect Value is going to be big this format to stop those big monster pushes, those big monster plays. I went down to 1 Exemplar because I went up to 3 Chaos Sorcerer. You know, she's still an excellent card, still able to bring back Spellcasters from the graveyard, especially some of the Spellcasters from my hand, help me synchro or exceed with it. But with her being Earth, even though she's great, she kind of hinders the 3 Chaos Sorcerers. So I went down to 1. Her ability is still too good to take her completely out. I only play 1 Summon the Monk because this deck needs monsters in attack mode to hit and beat and take your life points down to 0. There's 1 Summon the Monk. I can summon him, pitch an extra Secret Village that I have in my hand if I already have 1 live. Get a Lila, break it back row. If I already got another Spellcaster on the field, I can choose to exceed, which I'll show you my extra deck in a minute. Or I could choose to summon Kaiku to keep you from summoning that Chaos Sorcerer or that Blackluster Soldier against me. Jargon. I wish he was a little bit stronger, but he helps me keep Tragodia and Gores off my face. You know, if they got an open field and I can read a Tragodia play or a Gores play, I like to summon Jargon, you know, push with whoever I'm attacking with and push with Jargon. You know, Gores can't be special summoned, monsters can't be special summoned, period, which helps me out since I don't special summon that much in my deck anyway. On to the spell choices. As I said before, my first deck profile of this video, I was waiting on Pot of Duality to help add consistency to the deck. And sure enough, the 3 Pot of Dualities definitely helped me out tremendously. It added so much to my deck because this deck suffers from normal summon syndrome. And if I don't see a monster, if I can't keep Secret Village live, which is basically my win condition, because other than Chaos Sorcerer, which is not really a big win condition, Secret Village helps lock my opponent out of their spells, which I believe we'll be seeing a lot more of this format, making this deck a lot more important, a lot more powerful than it was. Pot of Duality adds that consistency. If I need to dig for a Secret Village or dig for, you know, a Spellcaster like Lila or Breaker or even Kaiku, you know, it can be done now with Pot of Duality being that super rare. So I like it at 3 in my deck. 2 Smash and Grounds help keep opposing monsters off my face. You know, big monsters like Cyber Dragon, even 1900 beaters like Thunder King, or, you know, monsters like that, other synchros that are not Stardust. It just helps keep them off my butt, just keep the beatings going. I got 2 Solidarity. I used to have 3. Before this was Burden of the Mighty. I like Solidarity a lot better in this deck because, the main board is just all spellcasters, as you can see. And the 800 attack on a Kaiku, with 2600 Kaiku, hitting and removing things from your graveyard. Or, play that I like to make is Summon Secret, play Secret Village, Summon Lila, play Burden of the Mighty, or Solidarity, I'm sorry, and set a back row and let Lila mill. I say about 80-90% of the time she mills a monster off, making Solidarity live and making Lila a 2500, MST, which is nothing to sneeze at, especially since you can't play spells. And if I have a trap like Bottomless or Black Horn of Heaven down, it just makes it all that much harder to get over. I kept Darkhold in my deck, even with the Secret Village, just because it's too powerful. Monster Reborn, Lord Darkness, self-explanatory. Onto the traps, we got Bottomless and Call the Haunted. I bumped it up to 2 Call the Haunted just in case, my opponent's able to clear my field. I can special summon a Spellcaster back to keep Secret Village live, or I can special summon that Lila, destroy the back row, summon the Spellcaster, keep Secret Village live, or just, keep the beatings coming. With the banning of Royal Oppression, it kind of hurt this deck, its ability to stop special summons, but I like Black Horn of Heaven, which will probably be replaced by Solemn Warning when it becomes super rare. But Black Horn of Heaven so far has been working pretty nicely, doing its job, stopping Hyperion, stopping Judgment Dragons, stopping a lot of things that need to be stopped against this deck. Compulse, I did it for the Stardust threats, or the big synchro threats, Bryonics, and although that hasn't been seeing play as much lately, it just keeps synchros and exceeds off my butt. Along with Mirror Force, same thing as Compulse. A lot of people probably won't play Mirror Force this format simply because MST and Heavy Storm are around, but I still like it in my deck because I can lock my opponent out of MST and Heavy Storm unless they're playing a Lightsworn deck, or a deck with lots of spellcasters. And the addition of Trap Dust Shoot. A lot of people say Trap Dust Shoot is one of the top 5 important cards of this format. I kind of say it is, but it isn't. I mean, it's a great card to open up with. Bring your opponent down. They play MST on it. You can chain it. They play Heavy Storm on it. You can chain it. Take that monster out their hands that you think they're going to use this turn or you think they're going to need. The opposing Effect Variant, the opposing Tour Guide, they're opposing, whatever is going to hurt you the most at that moment or whatever you think is going to be big in their combo piece. Take it out their hand, send it back to the deck. Let them draw it later. I think Trap Dust Shoot is a great card, especially this format where people are holding more cards in their hand. But that's the main deck list. On to the Synchros extra deck. I got Red Dragon Archfiend, Colossal Fighter, Thought Ruler Archfiend, 1 Stardust, 1 Black Rose Dragon, which I rarely summon, Ancient Fairy Dragon, Arcanite Magician, 1 Brio, Tempest Magician, which has actually won me a few games with her burn effect, Flamvell Urquizzes, Tech Genius Hyper Librarian, which I'm so glad he's a spellcaster, level 5 synchro, because of effect value and Magical Exemplar or any other 4-star spellcaster. Just a big beater with Secret Village on the field. They synchro to try to get over it. I draw a card. I got Solidarity. He's 32, almost impossible to get over. 1 Armory Arm just because sometimes I can make him. Decided to keep him in there. And for my Exceeds, I have 2 number 39 Utopia. I would love to have a Steel Sworn Roach, but the guy's like $100, so can't afford them. But the 2 Utopias, since I play a buttload of 4-star monsters, I figured, the Utopia come out, negate an attack. They try to attack my Spellcaster to turn Secret Village off and negate the attack. He's 2,500. He's an awesome Exceed for my deck, for this type of deck. Some card choices I was thinking about. I tested 2 Magical Exemplars. She's good, but she seemed to get in the way of the 3 Chaos Sorcerers. So I took her down to 1 and let the 1 Summon the Monk, take her place of the special summon of the Spellcaster from the deck instead of the graveyard of hand. I tested Wonder-Wand for a while, and it's a great card. It may find its way back into the deck, someday, but I just don't have the room for it now. I'm trying to keep it as close to 40 as possible. It's already at 41 with the addition of Trap Dust Shoot, but I think Wonder-Wand may see some play one day, may not. Heavy Storm, I have a lot of standing magic and trap. And more often than not, when Heavy Storm was legal back in the day, it was a dead draw. So I took it out, decided to put my back row hate on legs, like with the Lilas and the breakers, and it's been working wonders so far. I tested Charge of the Light Brigade and it worked, but although Lila asked some consistency with the mills, the extra milling just didn't help as much as I needed it, you know. So I took the Charge out and may find its way back in simply because it's a search card, but you know, you never know. I was thinking about, you know, adding 2 trap holes, in addition to the 2 bottomless and the 2 warning, just for summon hate. You know, if I get Secret Village live with a breaker or something else, you know, just they try to summon a spellcaster, they try to summon a monster. Trap hole gets those smaller monsters like that are 1,000 plus, the tour guides, you know, the other stuff like that. But for now, it's just in the thought pile. Starlight Road, because Black Rose hurts the shit out of my deck, so I was thinking about Starlight Road to stop those plays. Torrential Tribute, Mirror Force, all those cards like that, those power cards, they kind of hurt my deck. So I was thinking about Starlight Road, you know, very hard. It may make it in, may not. Tell me what you guys think. Torrential Tribute, I can't really play this because I'm very aggressive. I like to summon and hit, summon, hit, summon, hit, and I like to keep stuff on the board. My opponent gets bigger than me, I just find the answer for it next turn with Smash and Ground. Torrential Tribute hurts my deck more often than not, so I took it out. And Mind Crush, great card. People mainly to this format, but Trap Death Shoot is a much better card to me. This could be a dead draw sometimes. Just sitting around waiting for them to play something that reveals their hand or reveals a card in their hand. So probably main border or sideboard, I'm sorry, against other things. That's the update on the Secret Village deck. Let me know what you guys think. Rate, comment, subscribe. Give me suggestions. Give me cards to put in, cards to take out, you know. And that's it, YouTube. Peace. I'm out.